So it's been long overdue. We never recapped that May 22nd tournament, and here we are. It's mid-July. I had to wait till dusk just so I'd stop sweating. But you know what? It's better late than never. And it's a great tournament to recap because it was a lot of fun and another great learning experience. And we're talking about the BFL May 22nd Upper Bay. So let's get right into it. I got so fortunate these first two tournaments to get paired with great co-anglers. Michael Burke, who was with me on May 22nd, was no exception to that. He was great. You know, he has a lot of experience down at the Bay, but he said, Nick, do your thing. I'm here with you. Let's do it. Let's get some fish. He was pumped up, excited, good attitude, and that's what I need. I kind of feed off that, okay? One thing about having a good co-angler is it really does help you stay positive throughout the day, because I like to feed positive vibes throughout the day. And I think both of those co-anglers would tell you that. You know, no matter what happens, I don't get too up or too down. I try to stay even keeled. And it just keeps me going, making good decisions as best you can. And May 22nd, it started out a little rough. Okay, I got to my first spot. I ended up picking a bad number. So I got to my first spot that I had in my mind, and I seen there was two boats sitting there. And I knew that the spot wasn't big enough for three of us. Two boats, one on each side was it. And I kind of stayed there for about 15 minutes far back. I didn't get involved with what they were doing, but I should have left sooner. But at least I did leave in about 15 minutes, went to plan B. I got to plan B, lost about a 3.5, 4 pounder. That'll set your day back, right? But it stayed positive, didn't think too much about it. Went to plan C. Plan C is where I lost another keeper, all right? So it's starting to add up here, right? Lost another keeper. Michael, he caught a keeper. I'm so pumped up for him because he wanted to catch one for these points. And he did that. So he got in the boat, put in a live well, we're good to go. Now, soon after that, I put a keeper in the boat. And I was so pumped up, I gave him a big bear hug and was excited. And that's what it's all about, right? And that really started the day to roll. I'm confident again, we're getting each other pumped up, and let's do this. So we fished that area. I think I left there with two keepers. He had one. We ended up going down around 9:30 to the sassafras. I wanted to work on some wood down there that I had picked out, and luckily started putting fish in the boat fairly quickly. Nothing real big like I was hoping for. Ended up leaving the sassafras with a limit, okay, 5 fish. Mike had 2 and felt pretty good about that. We ended up finishing the day up near the northeast, the Furnace Bay northeast area. And unfortunately, we couldn't make it happen. The tide was awful low, and it was just so shallow. There was actually areas where you couldn't even fish. All right, so that pretty much wrapped up our day. We go in to weigh in. You know, I'm real happy with weighing in a limit, first limit out of BFL. Mike was real happy with getting some points. Now he's finally going up to New York where he likes to be. And just an exciting, good day. Now, that being said, you probably want to know, what was I using? All my fish came on a jig. It was a jig bite for me that day. Not in practice. Practice couldn't get much on a jig. It was more moving baits in practice. But that day I used a jig. This is a 1/2 ounce casting jig from Keitech. And I pair that with a Tantrum from riotbaits. And I just think this little setup here is a tender little morsel that the fish just have to have. All right. Now, my rod and reel and line is a Para G2 7'1" medium heavy by Cast King. Bassinator Classic 8:1-to-1 gear ratio with 15-pound fluorocarbon. And it just works out perfect. This setup, actually, I use so many different rigs, from chatterbaits to swim jigs to jigs, Senkos. There's all kinds of things I can do with it. And if you look it up, it's very, very affordable. Now that tournament's over, and I would say it was a success, 13.09 pounds, tied for 40th, coming out 24th in points. going into this year, I wasn't about points. I just wanted to show up to a few tournaments and do, you know, halfway decent. And I didn't even know about points. But now that I'm sitting 24th in points, I'd like to see if I can at least stay somewhere close or not fall too far behind, or maybe shoot up. You never know. But the next tournament's Lake Champlain. And actually, when we talk about the next 3 tournaments, we talk about Lake Champlain, we talked about Cayuga, and then we have the St. Lawrence. All 3 of those fisheries are some of the best in the world. The only thing is, I have this much experience on these bodies of water. I did get some time to navigate them, but not really fish them. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. I'm going in confident, but I want to have realistic expectations, okay? Now, I'm an old school angler. I try to learn things as well as I possibly can on the water, do some map study and things like that, but that's basically it at this point. Got to set up some networking abilities at some point. I'm excited to compete. I'm excited to get on these bodies of water and have a good time. I know they're just going to be phenomenal fisheries. And I'm excited to see the guys I'm competing against. You know, they're really good anglers, but they're even better people. And that's what's fun about the whole BFL. And you know, when I was doing the Bassmaster Open, and it's a camaraderie. You know, that's what's great about it. So we'll test our skills and we'll see how it all turns out. Thanks for watching. And like I always say, there's no such thing as a bad day on the water.